there, quilty friends. It's Carolina Moore, your favorite sewing and quilting YouTuber. And today we are going to make a zippered pouch using jelly vinyl. This is going to be unlined. It's going to have no bottom seam, and it's going to use one of these Missouri Star fancy zips to have the zipper at the top. So it's a little bit different than any of the zipper pouches we'd made before, and I thought we would do it together. You ready? Let's get started. Okay, so I have my tools. I need some jelly vinyl. This is from Sew Hungry Hippie. She has all kinds of colors. The great thing about jelly vinyl is that it isn't slick, and since it's not slick, that means that you don't have to have a Teflon foot on your sewing machine to be able to sew with it. So that's why jelly vinyl is a great vinyl to work with. You could do the same technique with a clear vinyl, but you would need to have a Teflon foot because the clear vinyls are they're glossy, and that glossy with a metal foot, the metal foot sticks on there. Okay, so we have our jelly vinyl. I have a Missouri Star fancy zipper. This has a decorative edge along the zipper, and it means that when we put it on top, which is what we're going to do with our jelly vinyl pouch here that we're making, it just looks more intentional and decorative. I'm using my box bag template to cut the box corners. We're doing these box corners a little different than we're used to. And then I just have my Sew Tights cutting mat and Sew Tights ruler to be able to cut down the vinyl. All right, let's start by cutting down this vinyl. So I'm going to cut an 8-inch piece. I've already squared off the end, and I'm just gonna line this up with the mat, and cut 2, 4, 6, 8. Was that 8? Yep, that's just gonna be 8. You know what? Let's go crazy. I'm gonna do 10. I'm gonna do a 10-inch pouch here. I think that's gonna make a little nicer pouch. Alrighty. So now I'm going to fold this in half. This is going to be the top part where my zipper goes, and this bottom part is going to be the bottom of the zippered pouch, which is why there's no seam at the bottom, because we're going to use this fold. So I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to grab my box bag template, and we are going to do a 2-inch box corner, and that's very, very intentional here, because between the 2-inch and the 1.5-inch line on here is this 45-degree midline, and that 45-degree midline is actually exactly between the 2 and the 1.5. So when I do a 2-inch box corner on this side, I'm actually going to line this up with the midline. So this is a 1 3/4 inch along the fold. So again, I'm doing, oh, this didn't line up right. Let me go. There we go. All right, 2 inches along the cut edge, and then a 45-degree midline, which is really a 1 3/4 inch on this folded side. And that's because there's no seam on this side. That's going to make up for our seam allowance. Now, if you wanted to do this with a bigger box corner size, then you could just use some glow line tape and put it between any of these markings, and that glow line tape would give you that 1/4 inch. So we want 2 inches on this side, and then a 1/4 inch less than our 2 inches on this side. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's see. Flip this over. Two inches on our raw edge side, midline on our folded side. There we go. Okay, so I have these 2 little extra pieces of jelly vinyl. I'm actually going to toss those. And now our piece looks like a big fat H, which is exactly what we want. All right, so now it is time to sew our zipper in place. I'm going to open up the zipper. And this zipper is way bigger than we need. If you've been around a while, then you know that I like really big zippers that are way bigger than we need, because it's easy to cut them down. And it's so nice to have that extra length. Also, if you've been around a while and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I don't know what's stopping you, but you should definitely go ahead and subscribe. Okay, so we are going to stitch this on one side and then stitch it on the other side. Whatever side is up right now should be the right side of the jelly vinyl. I don't know, does jelly vinyl really have a right side? Do they look different? They kind of do. I feel like this should be the outside. I don't know why. I don't know that it matters, but it was just the way we're going to do it. I'm going to swap out the presser foot on my sewing machine, and I need a zipper foot. So I have this zipper foot, which actually happens to be a Teflon zipper foot, but I'm not using it because it's a Teflon foot necessarily. I don't need a Teflon zipper foot here, but it just happens to be one. Let me turn on the machine. And then this is a different style zipper foot than I normally use. So I'm actually going to adjust the machine to a different kind of stitch so that you can see that needle goes right next to the zipper foot. That's important. All right, so now I'm going to do my best to line this up. Come here. I'm going to do my best to line this zipper up, and it might actually be a little easier if I opened up the zipper so I can see where the edge of that jelly vinyl is and extend this over. So I'm going to extend that zipper beyond. And I'm just going to line up the edge of the zipper with the edge of the jelly vinyl. It's going to be imperfect. I'm fine with that. Now, because this has that laser cut decorative, I think it's a sewing machine on this one. It's sewing in that laser cut decorative portion, so I'm going to need to sew a second line of stitching, which is totally fine. I'll do that in a second. I'll flip this around and do it the other way to do a second line of stitching. But this is going to just tack it down to hold it. There we go. I'm going to flip this around and do a second line of stitching, and this one will be right up against the edge of the zipper. All right, so I have 2 lines of stitching holding down that one side of the zipper, and I need to attach the other side of the zipper, and I'm going to bring this around so it's basically like a circle to attach this other side of the zipper. I'm going to use a marking pen. This is going to end up in the seam allowance, so you'll never see this mark. But I want a marking pen that marks where the end of this vinyl goes on this side, and then also on this side, so that I line up this vinyl correctly on the other side of the zipper. So now I can open up the zipper. So I'm going to do the same thing as before. This time I'm lining up that mark that I just made with the edge of the jelly vinyl so that my zipper is going to be lined up with both edges of the bag. Lining up the edge of the zipper with the edge of the jelly vinyl. And then stitching this down and then stitching the other side. All right, we're going to flip this so that the right side of the jelly vinyl is out. And this has got a twist in it. That's totally fine. I'm not worried about it. Oh. And then I want to make sure that I zip this at least part way closed, because I want the zipper pull to be inside the pouch. And now I'm going to line up these edges, and I'm going to sew down these side seams with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So let me put the 1/4 inch foot back on the machine. So now I'm going to line up these 2 bottom corners here, and I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. There is a lot of zipper bulk at the top. I may not get all the way up to the top. We'll see how far this will let me sew up towards. So I'm just going to do 1/4 inch seam allowance up, basically right up to those zipper teeth. Now, because I have this end, I do want to stitch over the top of these teeth and back and forth because I don't want that zipper pull to pull right off the end, which is absolutely possible if I don't add some extra stitching here. So you need to have some kind of stop on this end to your zipper if you're going to cut off the ends of the zipper, which I am. So extra stitching here. Okay. So you can see lots of extra stitching here to hold that zipper pull in place. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, lining up the 2 bottom edges. 1/4 inch seam allowance. And stitching all the way up. And again, I don't want the end of the zipper to come off the end of the bag, so I want to make sure that this is stitched very well closed up here at the top of the zipper tape. Okay, so now we've sewn the sides, and we're going to sew these box corners last. So here, we're going to open up this side of the bag, and the bag is still right side in or wrong side out. We're going to adjust this. Come here. Make this as flat as we can. Open up the seam allowance. And now we're going to stitch this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And here we do want to go back and forth at the corners to lock our stitches. That'll keep those corners from popping open by going back and forth. Cut my threads. Cut all the extra threads. I'm going to do the same with this other side. Open up that seam allowance. Pressing this as flat as possible. I'm going to cut all these extra threads that I have hanging out. There we go. And I should have an inside out bag. So now I can cut off the zipper tabs, or the zipper ends on these corners, these edges. And I can turn the whole thing right side out. Makes a funny noise, doesn't it? Now, if you have trouble working with any kind of vinyl, if it's cold, the vinyl is stiffer, and when it's warm, the vinyl is a little more pliable. So if you're in a cold room, maybe get a space heater, any kind of warmth will warm up this vinyl and make it easier and more pliable. This turned out really cute. All right. Push all these corners up. Oh my goodness, this turned out so cute. It's completely unlined. It's made out of jelly vinyl, so it's kind of like partially clear, like not exactly see-through, but a little see-through. In fact, hold on just one second. Here we go. I've got one of my little purse lights. Normally these purse lights are what clip on the outside of a bag. Actually, I guess it could even clip on the outside of this bag. And then turn it on. Let's see if we can get a glowing effect. You can see it a little bit right there. I get a little bit of a glowing effect through this vinyl. You can kind of see the light coming through from the purse light. So in the dark, this might almost be like a lantern in the dark. You can see the light. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so this was just a simple zippered pouch using jelly vinyl and then one of the decorative zippers. I love the way this turned out. It's such a different, it has a different feel to it. Also, there's no interfacing, no ironing, no lining. Pretty quick and simple with, two supplies? The vinyl and then the zipper, and then using the box bag template to cut those corners. All right, friends, that is our video for today. Again, if you're not subscribed, what's keeping you? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. Make sure that you like this video to let other people know that, yeah, maybe it's a good video and they might enjoy making a silly little zippered pouch out of jelly vinyl, or at least seeing how it's done to see if it's something that you want. Again, the inside is completely unlined, so you do see those raw edges, but I think it turned out cute. Super cute. Friends, that's it for today. I will see you right here real soon. Bye for now.